Scene script. Have you ever wondered how the Israel-Palestine conflict started? Picture a land that lies at the crossroads of continents, cultures, and centuries. This is the land of Israel and Palestine, a region rich in history and significance, a land that has been the epicenter of a conflict that has spanned the ages. The geographical location of this region is key to understanding the conflict. Israel and Palestine sit in the eastern Mediterranean, a strategic location that connects Asia, Africa, and Europe. This location has made it a focal point for political, cultural, and religious interactions throughout history, often leading to conflicts and tensions. But this conflict is not just about geography. It's about identity, religion, and a deep-rooted sense of belonging. The land holds immense significance for two major world religions, Judaism and Islam. For Jews, this is the biblical land of Israel, the promised land, the homeland of the Jewish people. It's where their holy city, Jerusalem, stands as a testament to their ancient and enduring connection to this land. For Muslims, this land is no less significant. It's home to Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam. It's a land that has been part of Islamic history and culture since the 7th century. So you see, the Israel-Palestine conflict is not just a political dispute. It's a struggle for identity, for history, for a sense of belonging to a land that is sacred to both Jews and Muslims. It's a conflict that is deeply rooted in history, in religion, in culture, and in a profound sense of identity and belonging. But how did this conflict start? How did this land become the battleground for one of the most protracted and complex disputes in modern history? To answer these questions, we need to delve into the annals of history, to trace the origins of this conflict, to understand the forces that have shaped it, and to explore the events that have propelled it into the global spotlight. Understanding the roots of this conflict requires a journey back in time. The origins of the Israel-Palestine conflict date back to the late 19th and early 20th century. Our tale begins with the rise of Zionism, a nationalist movement that emerged in Europe among Jews. This movement asserted the need for a Jewish homeland, a place of refuge and unity for Jews worldwide. This idea was born out of a long history of persecution and the desire for self-determination. Zionists set their sights on Palestine, an area with deep historical and religious significance for Jews. However, the path to actualizing this dream was not linear. The First World War brought significant changes to the geopolitical landscape. The Ottoman Empire, which had control over Palestine, was dismantled. Britain, one of the victors, took control of the region and made a pivotal promise known as the Balfour Declaration in 1917. This declaration stated Britain's support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. The implications of this promise were vast. It set in motion a series of events that would forever change the face of the Middle East. However, it's crucial to note that the Balfour Declaration also stated that nothing should prejudice the civil and religious rights of non-Jewish communities in Palestine. This duality would become a fundamental point of contention in the years to come. The aftermath of World War II marked another significant phase in this narrative. The horrific atrocities of the Holocaust led to a massive influx of Jewish immigrants to Palestine. This immigration, coupled with rising nationalist sentiments among Palestinian Arabs, led to increased tensions and violence. The stage was set for a major geopolitical shift. In 1948, the United Nations proposed a partition plan, dividing Palestine into Jewish and Arab states. Despite Arab rejection, the Jewish Agency accepted the plan, and the State of Israel was established. The establishment of Israel in 1948 marked a significant turning point in this conflict. The seeds sown in the late 19th and early 20th century had sprouted into a complex, multifaceted conflict that continues to shape the Middle East to this day. The creation of Israel in 1948 sparked the first of many Arab-Israeli wars. This period marked the start of a new chapter in the long-standing conflict, where the stakes were higher and the consequences more far-reaching. Firstly, let's delve into the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, also known as the War of Independence or Nakba, depending on one's perspective. With the formal establishment of the State of Israel in May 1948, 5 Arab nations, namely Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria, declared war on the nascent Jewish state. This war that lasted for almost a year led to an armistice in 1949, but without any formal peace agreement. The aftermath of this war was devastating, especially for the Palestinians. An estimated 700,000 Palestinians were displaced from their homes, an event known as the Nakba, or catastrophe. This displacement sowed the seeds of resentment and conflict for decades to come. The 1948 war was followed by a series of subsequent wars, each leaving its mark on the region. The Suez Crisis of 1956 saw Israel, Britain, and France attempt to regain control of the Suez Canal from Egypt. Although they were militarily successful, international pressure led to a withdrawal, leaving the situation largely unchanged. However, the most significant of these wars was the Six-Day War of 1967. Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. In a stunning victory, Israel managed to capture the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt, the West Bank from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from Syria. This war dramatically shifted the balance of power in the region and significantly expanded Israel's territorial holdings. Moreover, the Six-Day War led to the displacement of more Palestinians and increased international attention on the issue. The new borders drawn after the war still form the basis of negotiations today, and the areas occupied by Israel continue to be contentious points in the peace process. The Six-Day War of 1967 proved to be a game-changer in the conflict. It forever altered the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East and set the stage for the continuing strife that defines the Israel-Palestine conflict today. The conflict over the years has morphed into a complex political and territorial dispute. In the contemporary context, the conflict has become increasingly multifaceted, with several key issues at its heart. Israeli settlements in the occupied territories, for instance, have become a focal point of contention. These settlements, viewed by many as a violation of international law, have led to an escalation of tensions, as they are seen as an attempt to change the demographic balance in these territories. The status of Jerusalem is another critical issue. Regarded as a sacred city by 3 of the world's major religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the city's status is a subject of intense dispute. While Israel considers Jerusalem its undivided capital, Palestinians claim East Jerusalem, occupied by Israel since the Six-Day War in 1967, as the capital of a future Palestinian state. Security concerns further complicate the matter. Israel cites the need to protect its citizens from attacks as a reason for maintaining control over certain territories, while Palestinians see this as an imposition on their rights and freedoms. In the face of this complex conflict, several peace efforts have been undertaken. The Oslo Accords, signed in the early 90s, marked a significant step towards peace. They established a framework for future negotiations, leading to mutual recognition between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization. Later, the Camp David Summit in 2000 brought hopes of a comprehensive peace agreement. Despite intense negotiations, the summit ended without a final agreement, symbolizing the deep-seated challenges that persist in resolving this conflict. These peace efforts, while monumental, have not been successful in fully resolving the conflict. Each attempt at peace has been met with hurdles, from political opposition to outbreaks of violence, reflecting the intricacies and complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian dispute. Despite peace efforts, a resolution to the conflict remains elusive. Today, the conflict continues to be a central issue in the Middle East. The antagonism between Israel and Palestine has evolved with time, adapting to new political realities and being reshaped by recent events. One such instance is the conflicts in Gaza, resurfacing the age-old tensions and underscoring the volatility of the situation. The Gaza conflicts in particular have been marked by cycles of escalation and de-escalation, each round leaving a trail of destruction and a renewed sense of despair. These clashes have not only led to loss of life, but also caused a humanitarian crisis. The people of Gaza are subjected to an existence marked by economic deprivation, infrastructural decay, and a lack of basic services. The blockade imposed on Gaza has only exacerbated these hardships. This is not to say that the impact of the conflict is confined to Gaza alone. It reverberates throughout the region, influencing the socio-political landscape of the Middle East. The echo of this discord is heard far and wide, shaping global perceptions and international relations. The international community is not a mere spectator in this conflict. Various nations and international bodies have a role to play, either as mediators, peace advocates, or in some cases as parties contributing to the tension. The United Nations, for instance, has been instrumental in facilitating peace talks and humanitarian aid. However, the pathway to peace is fraught with complexities, often mired by political interests and historical grievances. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a testament to the enduring nature of historical disputes and their power to shape the present. It underscores the intricacies of national identity, territorial claims, and the quest for self-determination. It is a conflict that transcends borders, affecting not just the people directly involved, but the entire world. The Israel-Palestine conflict, rooted in history, continues to shape the present and future of the region. It is a stark reminder of the human cost of political disputes and the imperative for a just and lasting resolution.